And now let me share my screen.
Oh, now we get to see your home screen there.
Yeah, but where is my, that's not it. What happened to, that's so, this are the wonderful joys of some of this tech stuff. So give me a minute because it appears.
Yeah, it was there and you were showing it. And then when you,
so let me, let me try a share again. Where, oh, it's showing the whole.
Yeah.
But where's the beginning? All right, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to figure this out for a minute. I apologize. I should probably stop recording. Hi, everybody. Having a little technical difficulty here.
Hey, Carla, does this person's name ring a bell?
I can't see that very well.
No? Gina Chow. She's a Diamond Wellness Advocate with doTERRA.
Oh, very nice. Do you know her?
No, she was sitting next to me at a Starbucks with our friend Sarah.
No kidding.
On Sunday, and she heard me talking, and turns out she was there with a client. Anyhow. So.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Okay, looks like you got it, Suze.
Okay, I got it. I'm not going to mute because we're a small group. If there's a lot of noise, then I will do muting. So feel free to ask a question if you need to, and I'll leave some time for questions at the end. So I'm going to say welcome again for everybody who might be hearing this on the recording. I'm Susie Roos, a doTERRA Wellness Advocate who's deeply in love with the oils. I'm a registered nurse and a cancer coach, and I've studied functional diagnostic nutrition. And I'm really impressed with essential oils as a beautiful means of self-care and supplemental natural non-toxic healthcare, and also for creating non-toxic lifestyles. So this is one in a series of, you could call them webinars or mini workshops, in which I get to share some practical applications of oils for different areas of our lives and our health goals, or maybe our health concerns. So tonight, as you can see, it's better weight management and appetite control with doTERRA essential oils. And I have to put a little caveat in here. doTERRA CPTG oils, which means they're certified professional therapeutic grade oils, they are amazing, as I was just saying, for health and self-care. However, I have to say that there is no magic bullet. They are not miracle workers. You can't use an oil and then just watch all your undesired weight or cellulite disappear. Anybody who says that they have a magic bullet for this, you probably want to find somebody else. Because they're wonderful, but it's a holistic approach. So what I want to do today is take a quick look, and that's the operative word for this first part, a quick look at why we're so nutritionally and digestively challenged today, why we need to be concerned about excessive belly fat, and not just because we might not like how it looks or how it makes us feel. Why you might be consuming more sugar than you think. That's always an eye-opener for people. As a cancer coach, I have people saying, no, I cut out all my sugars. I don't eat donuts and cookies and cake. And they're not thinking of things like pastas and even breads and certainly muffins and ketchup and all sorts of things. So I want to touch on that just to give you a little awareness. And then I want to provide some general dietary, what I call biohacks for healthy, sustainable weight management. I have a preference for a type of diet, but this is not a class about diet. I just want to give you some of the latest research findings on biohacks that help us attain and maintain a healthy weight in a healthy way. And then once we go through that, we're going to spend much more time on essential oils and related products that do support sustainable, healthy weight management. And I want to go over lots of effective essential oil recipes, because being able to make these things yourself and personalize them to your own needs, it's empowering. It makes it a little fun. It makes it a little exciting. If you make something, you go, wow, this is really helping me. So we'll talk about some pre-done professional blends, and then some blends that we can make for ourselves. And I'll have some recipes up here as well. We're going to be looking at food cravings, at fat burning, at detoxifying and supporting the liver and kidneys, and diminishing cellulite and boosting metabolism. And I'm going to start with sort of this wellness lifestyle pyramid. This is something that doTERRA has put out, and it's not unique to doTERRA. I mean, this is their version, but this type of pyramid is going to be found in any holistic, integrative, functional medicine approach to almost any type of problem. We could use this for better sleep. We could use this for beauty hacks, for anti-aging, for dealing with hormone imbalances, all sorts of things, because this is kind of the process of becoming healthy in a sustainable and safe manner. And today we're really just going to look at the top 4. We're not going to go into self-care measures for health issues or how to do proactive healthcare, but we are going to be looking at the first 4 steps of this, which I think are all important, maybe equally important, when we're looking at a sustainable and effective weight management. So, as I said, I want to start with some broad strokes before we get into the oils and the specific protocols that we could use. And I just want to start with, why are we so challenged nutritionally, digestively, and we could also say blood sugar wise and weight management these days? I mean, I don't have statistics about it here. Everybody knows that we've got an obesity problem. We have a pre and ongoing diabetes problem. We have autoimmune disease at new levels, all sorts of things. And many of these things are connected to what's going on nutritionally and digestively. So I want a couple broad strokes here that I want to share. And one of the big things is that modern major dietary changes, we'll say, I mean, they've been going on for well over 100 years. I actually was looking at somebody who broke this down from 10,000 years ago to 2,000 years ago to 500 years ago to 50 years ago. I'm not going to get that detailed, but I do want to just sort of point out that our food system, the way we prepare it, grow it, consume it, and what we consume is so different. And we have these microbes that are millions of years old that have been sustaining human health and digestive systems and many, many other functions in the body. And they're not prepared to deal with things that they've never seen before, that probably from a purist point of view, you would say isn't even a food. It's a food-like substance. And I put this pyramid on the side of the screen here because, as all of us, I think all of us, and all of us are probably old enough to know this recently, thank God, retired food pyramid. But having all those grains on as the tier, as the foundational food, 6 to 11 servings, we were never designed for that. This was all part of big food marketing and special interest groups and all this stuff. We were never designed to do this. There are people that have a really good argument that we really shouldn't do any of this, and other people, you know, moderate amounts or certain types. But the point is, we were all raised and taught in schools, and hospital nutritionists were all talking about you need your grains, and then you need this smaller amount of vegetables and fruits, and use your fats really sparingly. This is not a healthy diet for us, whatever kind of diet you like. And it's over these last, especially 30, 40 years, we're all paying the price for this. And now we've got cows eating corn and soy. I don't know if we have any farmers among us, but I don't know a lot about farming, but I know that cows were not designed to eat corn and soy. That I know. And we are what they eat. And this is what the factory farm cows. That's why we talk about, if you're going to do beef or chicken and stuff, make sure you have free, you know, grass fed, free pastured, or chickens free range, because if the factory farms, you can bet that it's GMO corn and soy, cottonseed and alfalfa. So it's a double whammy, and they're not designed to eat it, and we're not designed to eat it through them. And it changes the constituents and the percentages of what they offer us is very, very different in this type of meat if you eat it. And then going right along with this are the GMOs. Probably most of you know we are a living laboratory right now for the effects of GMOs on the human gut and the human body at large. And it's unfortunately, the longer we have GMOs and GMO studies, the effects, it's not good news. It's not good news at all. Lots and lots of problems in our gut and in some of our organs because of this. And we have to be the ones who take care of this for ourselves and our family, because it's going to be a while, unfortunately, before this disappears, if it ever disappears from our food tables and our food choices. They poke holes in the, I'm going to talk just a tiny bit about that, but they're food-like things, and we were not designed to have pesticides in us, pesticides that are created, they were implanted in food so that they blow up the bellies of insects. What does that do to our bellies? I mean, it's not rocket science, but it is big food. So, and then you add the herbicides and pesticides and biocides and the drugs that are in our food supplies. And I put this picture up because it just gives me, every time I see a picture like that, unfortunately, it's not a rare picture, but whenever I see a picture like this, it's like, really? These guys are wearing the equivalent of hazmat suits and masks, you know, filtering masks and to spray our crops, and then it's fine to eat them. You know, it's just, I just invite you to ponder that and draw your own conclusion if you haven't already done that. Additives, preservatives, endocrine disruptors. We could have a whole class on all of this, but I just wanted, again, to just sort of put it in perspective and put it on your radar if it hasn't been there before. Overuse of soil, synthetic fertilizers, monocropping, which means the soil gets extremely depleted of certain minerals because we don't rotate crops. And look at this. In North America, we have an 85% soil mineral depletion. And that's why, by the way, we need to be taking some supplements, because if you're getting your food in American soil, even organic, unless they're doing soil restoration, you can't get what isn't there in the soil. The good news is you don't get some of the things that we don't want, and that's very important, but you can't get in the plant what the plant hasn't received from the soil. And then we know that, these are statistics, today's typical diet is 43% processed food. That's, you know, and it's just a reality. And then how many people microwave that food and destroy nutrient values. And of course, if they do it in these quote microwave safe containers, you've got plastics leaching into the food. Then we have that whole thing of artificial fruit ripening, where produce is picked before it's ripened so that it can make the journey to wherever it's going and go through all the process of ending up on your grocery shelf, unless it's maybe a farmer's market. And then they artificially ripen them, but they don't get the nutrient value that they would at peak normal natural ripening. And so we have a lot of these processed foods versus whole foods, and we don't have a lot of fermented foods these days, which are, that's a whole nother topic, but fermented foods feed and provide bacteria that we need in our guts to deal with all this stuff going on, and to also help replace some of the things that are lost from drugs and antibiotics and such. So it's what do they call it? It's the perfect storm for digestive challenges, including weight. And then I think this is the last one I want to point out, but it's not the least, is the sugar consumption. If you look at this chart here, I mean, you can see from the 1600s to now, it's crazy. But even from the 1900s, where we're going, oh my gosh, we're doing 40 pounds of sugar a year as an average. Now we're up to over 110 a year. And there's a big cost on sugar. I mean, again, I could do a whole workshop on sugar, but I just be aware that sugar causes a tremendous amount of inflammation in the body, as well as, can drive cancer, diabetes, and storage of sugar, so fat. And it's just something we need to be aware of. And I promise I have a couple sugar craving buster recipes coming up. But I just want you to know, these are some of the things that we need to be also looking at to do successful and healthy weight management. And I'm just going to give you, I like to point this out, even though I'm only doing like one slide on sugar here, or one more slide, just to give you an awareness, because I can't tell you how many people think, I don't do sugar, but they eat for breakfast and sandwich for dinner and a sandwich for lunch and a dinner roll for dinner. There's a lot of sugar, or a muffin, or many of the cereals. So this is a quote from Dr. Davis, the cardiologist and the author of Wheat Belly, that aside from extra fiber, eating these 2 slices of whole wheat bread is not a whole lot different than drinking a can of soda or having a sugary candy bar. So I just want to, again, put that in your awareness if it hasn't been there. And then these are just some of the other names for sugar when you're looking at a package and you're wondering. I mean, and I don't think this is a complete list, by the way. But it gives you an idea, and it also reminds us that even, a healthier sugar, an organic sugar, or a coconut sugar, which is a much healthier version, there's still sugars, there's still carbohydrates that can drive blood sugar levels and interfere with some weight decreasing measures. And here's one example. Who thinks mustard greens and sugar? So this is just an example. You can see 3 different places where sugar shows up in this in the ingredients. And since ingredients are listed in the order of prevalence, you can see sugar is like the 3rd ingredient in this product.
Hey, Susie,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing any slides or video. I'm only seeing you.
All right, how about everybody else?
I can see the slides still. Mark, you must have done something where you switched to video only.
Oh, there. Yep, I got it. Thank you.
All right, well, I'm glad you didn't wait longer to bring that up. And the last thing about the sugar I just want to point out is smoothies, which can be so healthy. Nutrient-dense smoothies is one of the biohacks I'm going to share. But if you're doing a lot of fruit or you're buying a pre-done smoothie at many places that make smoothies, just know they can be loaded with sugar. So just an awareness tip for you. So because of all of these different things, many of us are overfed and undernourished, and it's very hard to lose weight when you're undernourished, besides being overfed. We have a much bigger toxic load than earlier times in history, which is why when some people, doctors and other healthcare practitioners will say, hey, we have organs of detoxification. Our livers and our kidneys and our lungs and our colon and even our skin have been functioning quite well for millions of years, detoxifying our body. Well, they didn't have the toxic load that we have today. And that's why I believe, and I'm certainly not alone, I'm in good company with many, many functional medicine doctors and practitioners with the need to do some detox. And I'm going to mention a little bit about that with the oils. Chronic inflammation comes from all this sugar and these toxins and leaky gut. And autoimmune disease is one of the big results of chronic inflammation, wherever it shows up, as Crohn's disease, as thyroid disease, as rheumatoid arthritis, and now we're beginning to realize with Alzheimer's, and there certainly is a connection with cancer. Sugar addiction, because sugar hits those pleasure centers, and sugar addiction is just as strong, if not stronger, as shown by tests, as heroin addiction. So it's not an easy thing, and it's not just, quote, a weak willpower or something. And if we have certain diseases, I don't think I have it on the list here, but like candida and fungus and things, they really push your desire to have sugar. So there's a lot of little pieces here: leaky gut, brain fog, and belly fat. And I want to take 1 minute to talk about this excessive abdominal fat that's showing up on.
Nice picture, Susan.
You like that? Belly fat releases cortisol. You guys need to know that. This isn't just a vanity issue. Boy, I don't like how I look. I haven't tucked a shirt in 2 years or whatever. It releases cortisol, and that stress hormone makes it awfully hard. That dysregulates your blood sugar. And besides, when you're stressed, it's anti-aging, and it's also makes it hard to not do any stress-related eating. It affects your heart and liver and pancreas. It certainly increases risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver, and cancer. And I won't go into it, but the kind of fat that we store in the belly is around the organs. It's not the kind of fat like we have in our legs or our breasts or, our arms. It's a dangerous situation for us. And then you get poor sleep and sleep apnea. There are so many people, once they lost weight. You like this picture better, Mark?
Oh, sure. Love it.
Leads to poor sleep and sleep apnea. And
whatever looks like me, shoot me.
Okay. Well, that's why we're doing this. No, you're not anywhere near this. You don't even have a weight issue. And then back pain, of course, just from structurally speaking. So that's just kind of the problem. Now, are there any questions about this? Okay, then I'm going to talk just a little bit about this bottom foundation. Now you understand the reason why we need to make dietary changes if we haven't done them yet. I think I'm speaking to the choir to a lot of you here on this call. I'm not going to talk different diets. I just want to say from the latest research that eating a lot of healthy fats is a very positive approach to getting rid of inflammation in the body and losing weight. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I touch on it a little bit later. If you have questions, want to know anything about this whole thing of low-fat foods was one of the worst things that was done to our health starting, whatever that was 50 years ago. It's created so much more obesity and inflammation and heart disease. But hopefully we are making changes. This is a much healthier pyramid. So I want to give you these 10 weight loss biohacks, and then we're going to go, some of them cover oils, but then we're really going to go into the oils. So I'm just going to kind of, again, you can take a note on any of these. If it's of interest and you want to know a little bit more, you can ask questions, or you can contact me later on any of these things if there are things you want a little more information to initiate for yourself if you're not doing them for interest. So this is what I was just saying, higher healthy fat intake. Really, when we learn to burn fat again, because we are designed to burn fat and sugar, and most of us have forgotten how to burn fat because we always have sugar to burn, and sugar does not burn as clean as fat. And our cell membranes are fat. They need it. Our brain needs a lot of healthy fats. So beginning to teach your body to burn fat again, and you have to really cut down sugar in order to do that. The other thing I want to mention, because people here are ketogenic and paleo and all this stuff, that we're not looking to substitute all those carbs for meat and meat type substances. It's way too much protein for our bodies, and there's a cost. I mean, we need protein. Our whole body, building blocks are made from protein, but too much protein has very adverse effects in our body. And so if you want to put a label on a higher healthy fat intake, it would be leaning towards ketogenic or ketogenic, but not what many people refer to as a paleo. And then this is just an example. Most of you know this too. We're not talking about eating unhealthy. It's not permission to eat all these trans fats found in these processed vegetable oils, which are used to make all the fried foods and various kinds of fast food, or even any kind of many restaurant venues. We want the healthy fats and avocados, coconut oil, olive oil, healthy wild-caught fish, and healthy raw nuts and seeds are beautiful ways to get those. Second thing, I've already alluded to, low carbs. We need carbs, but we can get lots of carbs from vegetables and low glycemic fruits. This is just a little list of some of the ones that are really good. And because, again, we want this as a lifestyle, not a diet. So low carbs. Intermittent fasting, I think, is a fabulous weight loss biohack. And it's not about restricting calories, which is one of the really nice things about it. It's about restricting your eating window. I could talk a lot about this. I have, I think, one slide that shares a little bit more about it. But the idea is, even if you could restrict your eating to, we have a 24-hour day. If we could restrict it to at least 12 hours, meaning you finish eating by 7 something at night and you don't eat till 7 in the morning, that's a 12-hour window that really allows some good things and rejuvenation to take place in our body. If we can do more than that, it's even better. But just this idea of, can I do this? Can I stop eating 3-4 hours before bedtime, sleep 8 hours, and I'm already at a 12-hour window? And then we want to creep it up from there if we can, but even that will have a big, big benefit in multiple ways. And not having to digest food while we're sleeping has its own bonus for our health. Adequate sleep. Again, I can and will do a whole thing on sleep, but just know I used to be one of these people that could do really well with 5 or 6 hours of sleep, and I have been training myself to move more towards 7 and 8 instead of people doing the reverse, because I now understand what goes on during sleep that is so rejuvenating and only takes place while we sleep. And just one little tip about this is, it's going to sleep at 10, maybe no later than 11 is really helpful. There's brainwave states and cleaning processes in the brain that do not take place after midnight. So if you go to sleep after midnight, even if you get your 8 hours, which is the things seem to be 7 at the minimum to 10 hours a night, depending on you, your body type, what you're doing. Even if you would go to sleep at 2 in the morning and sleep till 10, you miss out, just like night shift people, they miss out on certain functions, healing functions in the body that we were designed to take advantage of. Stress reduction, I already mentioned a little bit. Stress, cortisol drives weight, sugar makes it much harder. These are 3 favorite oils. We're going to talk a little bit more about them, but Serenity Wild Orange and Balance are really beautiful oils for calm. Of course, lavender, Serenity has lavender in it. Lavender is a big one. Vetiver, another one, Roman chamomile. All these oils can be used for stress. And of course, you have things like meditation and mindfulness and yoga and things like that. Whatever your ways are, forgiveness work, not holding a grudge. Lots of things will help reduce stress. Cleanse, we're going to talk more about this because it's one of the steps on the pyramid, but just a little preview here. If you're only going to do one thing, it would be lemon oil, but hopefully you're going to do more. doTERRA has some beautiful products for detoxifying your various organs. You can do them individually or you can do a whole program, and I'll touch on that in a little bit. But cleansing is an important part of weight loss. And when we are losing fat, a lot of toxins stored in fat come out. So we want to make sure that our organs of detoxification and elimination are working well so that we don't reabsorb those toxins that we've loosed in our body again. Hydration. Most of us are chronically, mildly or more dehydrated because most of us don't do 32 ounces of water for every 50 pounds of body weight. That's a rough calculation, but it's a good one as sort of a measuring stick. And that doesn't include tea, that doesn't include coffee. Those actually dehydrate a little bit. They have a place, but just know that that doesn't count as fluid intake when we're talking about hydration. So water, and we're going to talk about some great things you can put in your water. Another one, bone broth and collagen added to shakes or coffee or tea helps heal the gut and decrease inflammation. In fact, what I'm drinking right now, my tea has a scoop of collagen powder in it. I try and get 1 scoop in a day. If I didn't put it in a smoothie, I'll throw it in my tea. It doesn't have any taste. Bullet tea or coffee. Some of you may have heard about this and use it. I think this is a fabulous weight management tool. It sounded gross when I first heard about it, taking a tablespoon of butter.
And into Susie's.
Pardon?
Susie's what?
Okay. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm going to keep going. So you can put something maybe in the chat if I need to know something. I think, actually, I'm not sure I can access it sharing my screen, but putting a tablespoon of butter, a tablespoon of coconut oil, maybe that collagen powder, and coffee.
So I turned Susie's meeting on.
Oh, okay, that's Susie, yeah.
Okay, if you're
and she could hear me talking, so I had to mute it.
Okay, well, you're not muted right now, Tina. Is that Tina?
They don't want that.
You're not
Right.
muted, so can you mute yourself?
Yeah, they don't. With the meeting, don't need to hear our conversation.
We're all
That's for
hearing
sure.
you.
No.
Okay.
Tina, mute your call. We can hear your hubby.
So I'm going to go listen to it.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can.
good.
You
All
can.
right, so
Susie, can you mute her?
see what they have to say.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can do that while
I love you, Goldilocks.
Okay, I love you too.
Okay, baby.
Okay, Goldilocks.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And you have a mute button on the bottom, towards the bottom of your screen. If you need to do that, then you can hear me or anybody else here talking, but we won't hear you until you have some brilliant question or something or comment. So the last thing I have for weight loss biohacks is one nutrient dense smoothie a day. Some people do two. They replace 2 meals with them, which is a low calorie, high nutrition. So it kind of offsets that overfed and undernourished aspect for so many of us. I just realized these were what I showed you. That's why they're so colorful. These are smoothies for toddlers. Any toddlers here on the call? But the idea of green smoothies, and there's so many good things we can put in our smoothies as long as we don't make them too fruit rich like many people do. I showed you that other slide that showed how much sugar is in that type of smoothie. So those are 10 biohacks. And now,
What was number 2, Susie?
the low carbs, I think. Yeah, that was the second one, was low carbs. First one was the high fat. Second one was low carbs.
Thank you. The doorbell rang, which is why I said I'll be right back.
Okay. So one little thing on intermittent fasting, I just wanted to give you an understanding of why you might want to consider doing this. It is because this is way beyond weight loss. And it's so cool what we're finding out. Like I said, if we can start with that 12-hour window, including a few hours before we go to bed and go to sleep, we begin to burn stored fat when energy is needed instead of carbs. That's really helpful, and it teaches our body to become more of a fat burning machine, especially if we're doing high fats and low carbs. After 16 hours of fasting, so that you make an 8-hour window for your food, say 11 o'clock in the morning till 7 at night, we start this process called autophagy, where our body, in order to get some of the energy, it consumes old and damaged cells for fuel. So we're cleaning up old stuff that doesn't belong being active in our body. And when that happens, a week or so later, we just initiate stem cell production to create these damaged cells with really healthy ones. And this is a very exciting process. And, there's a lot of things in the news about stem cell therapy. And this is a way to get stem cells for free. It's a very expensive process, and they're not doing it for all aspects of our bodies. Now, if somebody, I've done a 3-day fast. I've never done more than that. And they sound like they'd be so hard, but once you get into this mode, they're really not. So I'm just putting it out here. I'm not telling you to do it. I just want you to understand that if you can do a 3-day water fast, that autophagy kicks in so strong, and at 5 days, it's pretty amazing that people regenerate their health. Sick people, and you'd think a sick person would need calories and food and energy, but there's a lot of healing that goes on if you do these fasts. And also in my world of cancer stuff, they're defining that fasting, it seems so counterintuitive, even up to 36 hours before chemo kicks butt a lot better than if you eat. And it seems like
you're saying doing a 3-day fast with, just water, no food at all?
Water fast, or if you have to do something, then do juice fasting. Just do juices. Or if you can't quite do that, do a smoothie a day. Eat 1 time a day if you can. Everybody's different with this. Some people thrive on it. Some people are very challenged by it. And if you have an illness going on, of course you want to do this under supervision. With a doctor. Like, I would never tell someone to do a 3-day fast before chemo, or a 2-day, or even a full day, without talking to whoever is working with them. There's a high chance that they wouldn't support it because they don't know about it. But the statistics are so impressive. And so anyway, I just wanted to put this in your field of possibilities and give you an understanding of these people are not real weird. There's a huge benefit from doing intermittent fasting or an actual, day, 3-day, 5-day fast.
Okay, so I have a question. So with the 12-hour window, let's say you stop eating at around 6 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
You then get up at 6 o'clock the next morning. That's 12 hours.
Right. And if you can wait till 7 or 8, I mean, some people have to feel like they have to eat right away. But if you could wait by the time you do a few things, whatever, if you can make it 13, 14 hours, that's even better. But 12 hours is kind of the minimum.
So at that 12 hours, which is really not hard, for me, but you're saying after 16 hours, let's say at 10 or 11, that's when you would start to have your first shake or your first
Correct.
meal.
And then maybe finish up again by 6 or 7 at night. So most people who are doing this are doing 2 meals a day, not 3. If you're doing intermittent fasting. And there's a whole pattern. I decided not to go into it. If you do this kind of thing regularly, you end up adding 1 feast day in with more carbs because we don't want the body to be concerned about that it's starving, like it's getting any signals that way. So it's kind of fun. You do 1 feast day of healthy but abundant carbs. And then you may do 1 full fast day. That's how a lot of people do it, who are getting into a rhythm with this. But intermittent fasting with a 12-hour window, just like you were saying, is really not difficult for many people, and it's worth a try. And again, if you're taking medications and things like that, you should be consulting with your physician, because it's going to change as you take insulin or blood sugar medications or blood pressure medications, some of those things are going to begin to change. And the cool thing is, most people spend 40% of our daily energy actually going into digestion. So when you give this break, most of us eat every couple of hours. There's a big story. I need to eat every couple hours for my blood sugar. And there's a small population of people that might be true for, but not for the majority. And it's a lot of work for our body to be digesting food pretty much 24/7, because it takes a few hours to digest a meal. So there's a huge benefit for fasting, even if it's just all night or 12 hours. Okay, I'm going to try and go on. What's going on here? There we go. So here I'm going to get into, let me see, how doTERRA supports foundational nutrition, now that we kind of have an understanding of why that's important. I can't get away. Everybody knows about doTERRA Lifelong Vitality Pack. I love, and not only do I love the product, that's my little thing in the corner, I love Lifelong Vitality, but I love the fact that it is recommended by so many healthcare professionals. I mean, there are many, many good vitamins out there, but I love that there's so many naturopaths and healthcare practitioners recommending it. I heard Lisa Wilson of the Raw Food Institute say she gave up her private label line of vitamins, and because she could not match these. That was very powerful, because I know Lisa and I know her commitment to excellence with this stuff. So for those of you who don't know about Lifelong Vitality, you have a vitamin and mineral supplement, you have an omega fatty acid. We all need those fats, and a fatty acid, we don't get enough of it from eating fats. And if you can do marine-based, if you're a vegan, they do have a vegan version. If you're not a vegan, I so recommend the marine-based, because you get things from fish that you cannot get from plants. That's really helpful for us. And then the Alpha CRS is my absolute favorite, because it is such a powerful anti-inflammatory supplement. It has curcumin and resveratrol and quercetin and grapeseed extract and just so many of the things that people take individually. Like a lot of people, this has actually cut down their need for supplements by getting all of this in one. And as many of you know, Linda Carpenter, she is my upline in doTERRA and a friend and a colleague who was on her own cancer fighting journey from stage 4 cancer to cancer free. And that was another person who impressed me. When she started on Alpha CRS, she dropped off a lot of supplements she was taking when she was actively fighting cancer. And she'll never stop being vigilant. But thank God it's been in her totally cancer-free for at least 3 years now from stage 4. So Lifelong Vitality, if you haven't tried it, I so recommend it. If you've got something that you think is equivalent to it, awesome. This is something that you can order monthly on a special program. You're earning back on it. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee if you want to try it and see if it's right for you or a family member. I don't have anything about kids here tonight, but they actually have a kids version of this as well. These are just 2 other things that I recommend adding to Lifelong, or at least consider adding to it. One is a digestive enzyme. Most of us, when we eat cooked food, we don't have enough enzymes to help break down our food. That's what enzymes do. There are enzymes to break down fats and carbs and protein. And when we cook food, the enzymes inherent in them die. If you're doing a lot of raw foods, you may have enough. But it takes the burden off of the body to have to provide all these digestive enzymes, especially when we're eating every couple of hours, as many are. And that frees the body to make other kinds of enzymes that are needed for every biochemical reaction or action in the body. And we run on biochemical action. I mean, that's what we run on, bioelectrical energy. So that's why I really recommend an enzyme and then a probiotic, because unless you're doing a lot of those fermented foods that have disappeared off of many people's daily or weekly menus, probiotics to colonize our guts properly and make sure that our immune system is up to speed. Not only are they critical for digestion, but 80% of our immune system is in our digestive system, and these probiotics are essential. And if you're doing certain medications, and especially antibiotics, you've got probiotics, you've got antibiotics, they kill all the microbes, and we do need to replenish them. And if we're not doing it with fermented foods, we got to give it a boost, a PB, a probiotic assist. Another product I want to mention that goes really great with weight loss is Terra Greens. This it's a green powder. It has a lot of the grasses like wheatgrass and barley grass in there. And it has a lot of your greens, your cruciferous vegetables. It has some fruit in there. And if you are doing a smoothie, this is beautiful to add to a smoothie and know you're getting a really beautiful serving of fruits and vegetables that you probably aren't getting enough unless you're doing 6 or 8 servings of vegetables a day. You may get that in fruit, maybe. Most people don't have that in vegetable. I just wanted to point this out. There's a lot of green superfood powders. This is a good one. And it's available for you. For those of you who have doTERRA accounts, it's available wholesale. Another thing that's really helpful, we talked about doing smoothies. doTERRA has a version of a smoothie. They're called trim shakes. And for weight loss, this is not a new principle. This is not a doTERRA principle. It's a principle that doTERRA adheres to, that a great way to lose weight is to do these nutrient-dense, lower-calorie meals. Something that I'm going to touch on is, because we already talked about cortisol, what's cool about this particular doTERRA's trim, their shake, their protein powder, is that it has something called Centra Trim, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but that decreases cortisol levels. It's low fat, it's low glycemic. I actually add fats to it. You already know my prejudice towards high fat. So if I were doing, and when I do this, I add coconut oil and maybe an avocado in. And there's nothing artificial, and I make it a little bit more than 70 calories per serving, but that's really low to have as a base for a lunch or a breakfast or even a dinner. And they do have a vegetarian alternative because this has whey protein in it. So if you're vegan, they do have their vegetarian version, which is all plant-based. And this is one of the things that makes this shake kind of special. It has ashwagandha extract in it, which again helps control cortisol levels and decrease fat accumulation. If you've ever seen anybody on a high or chronic dose of steroids, they get this sort of this moon face and this bigger belly and hips. And you go, oh my God, are you on steroids again? And then when they get off the steroids, it kind of goes away. There's other costs, but that weight stuff can often go away. Plus appetite goes up with higher cortisol levels. So I like that this has ashwagandha in it, which is also emotionally makes you feel less stressed.
Does it come in an oil?
Ashwagandha, no. There are obviously oils that do reduce cortisol levels. Frankincense is one of them. I know there's more. They're not coming in my brain right at this moment. But this is with regards to a food, that you've got that. And it supports energy production. I wanted to include Digest Zen here because I keep being amazed by what Digest Zen does for people and myself. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of digestive issues, but if I do, or somebody I love, or I am out somewhere and someone says, oh, I ate too much, or I shouldn't have eaten that, or I don't know what's going on, but I keep running to the bathroom, whatever, I give them Digest Zen, and I love it, and I'm still impressed by, wow, your stomach pain went away, or, oh God, that feels so much better. Had this happen not too long ago with one of the nurses at the hospital who was running to the bathroom after lunch. And I said, well, here, just try this. And she said, I'll try anything. And at the end of the day, she came to me and she said, that was amazing. What is it? I want some. And same thing happened. Actually, it was kind of fun because my nephew is a physician, and he had something cooking with him when we were all together on vacation. And he used it, his wife used it, and when we all left to go home, he was like, so where do I get this from? And that was kind of fun because essential oils is not in his world. You can see what's in there: the anise, the peppermint, ginger, caraway, coriander, tarragon, fennel. Those are all oils that target in different ways the digestive system. So not only does this help relieve symptoms, but it helps heal the gut. And that's why I have it in here. Obviously, I want you to have relief from any symptoms. And sometimes when you switch your diet or you're detoxifying, you may get some, digestive upsets, or you're trying to figure out what works for you and what doesn't as you make changes. Digest Zen is fabulous to have in your medicine cabinet.
1 to 2 drops under the tongue.
You can do it on your tongue. You can put it in water. A lot of people put it directly on their belly, 2 or 3 drops. Like if your stomach is hurting, I recommend doing that. And if it's your lower abdomen, putting it there. If it's more like a reflux or a GERD, putting it, higher up near the, just below the sternum. If you're dealing with things like diarrhea or constipation, putting it a little lower. But you can certainly put it in water, you can put it in a capsule, and you can put it under your tongue. When you look at doTERRA oils, actually any oil, if it's a high quality oil that's meant to be taken internally, and I'm going to do a class again on essential oil safety, but it should have a supplement label if you want to take it internally. And you'll notice many brands of oils do not have supplement labels on them because they don't want you to take them internally. But fortunately, most of the oils, you'll notice if you look at your bottles, if you have them, many of them have supplement labels and a few of them don't because they're not meant to be taken internally. But that's how you'll know if a doTERRA oil can be used internally, is that way. So this is, if we had time, I'd say give me your digestion stories. And I know that several of you would have a great story about digestion saving the day. So I wanted to include this here with digestive and weight management stuff. Sugar, right? You like sugar? I use this slide when I do my cancer presentations because so does cancer, inflammation, and every, yeast. And they actually drive you to want more sugar. And so I wanted to give you some solutions. But first here, I just saw this and thought, wow, white powder, are you a sugar addict? Something to think about. And a lot of people say, indeed, yes, I am. And as I said earlier, it's as addictive or perhaps more addictive than heroin, the way it hits our pleasure centers. So this is Slim and Sassy. If you were only going to get one oil, I hope that's not the case, but if you were going to get one oil having to do with sugar cravings and appetite control and weight loss, this is the one to get. Slim and Sassy. They call it the metabolic blend because it's so helpful for weight loss, boosting metabolism, dealing with food cravings. You can get it as an oil or you can get it as a soft gel. And a soft gel is the oil just in the form. It's not like a supplement that has other things in it. It's literally oil in a soft gel form for those people who would rather do that than take the oil. Most people, I think, use the oil, though, because I'll show you in a minute different ways to use it. But let's just take a minute to see what's in it. You've got, anybody recognize that leaf? Who's my herbal people?
Peppermint?
Mm-hmm. Peppermint, which is fabulous for digestion and nausea, calming the gut. If you didn't have digestion, I would say use peppermint for the digestive things. And digestion certainly has peppermint in it. What's that one?
Ginger.
Yep, ginger, another fabulous one for digestive health, as well as a great antioxidant. Also a good one for nausea. We've got lemon. Yeah, everybody knows that one. Lemon, as I said, is a terrific oil for detoxifying, helping the digestive organs detoxify. And your citrus oils, who knows what they're called in general? Citrus oils are known as the happy oils. So it makes you a little happy while you're dealing with diet stuff. It's a mood elevator. Grapefruit is also obviously citrus. So it has that effect, but this is also this is an oil, and I'll show you in a minute why I recommend grapefruit be even by itself in your weight loss and fat burning toolkit. Grapefruit literally boosts metabolism, helps burn fat. You can use it locally on the body. I'll give you a cellulite recipe with it. Grapefruit is really good for all of that. So that's why it's in this formula. And who knows what that is?
Cinnamon.
Yep. Cinnamon bark. And which is you have cassia that looks similar, and you have cinnamon bark is a little higher grade, a little more useful for our purposes. Cinnamon bark, who knows why that's in this formula? I mean, there's a couple of reasons. It's good for digestion, but there's a very specific reason. Does anybody know what's one of the main things cinnamon bark is great for?
Digestion.
Well, it does help digestion, but very specifically, cinnamon is great for blood sugar control. Like our diabetic colleagues, it's super to use every day to help control blood sugar, or people who are trying to do whatever they're doing with their diet or trying to shift from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. Cinnamon, whether you get it in Slim and Sassy or you take it separately, but that's why it's in Slim and Sassy. So this is a beautiful, beautiful blend. I kind of said many of these things, but healthy metabolism, hunger cravings, calms the stomach, helps purify and cleanse the body. So that's a lot.
What about the gum, the Slim and Sassy gum?
I will get to that. There is a gum, and each piece of gum has 1 drop of Slim and Sassy in it. So you can think about that as we go over how to use it. You can add it to water. You can take it in a capsule, as you can take it directly on the tongue, or you could take the soft gels throughout the day. And there's your gum. It does, pretty much the same thing. And a lot of people think it has a long-lasting flavor. I thought I had a slide in here. I guess I don't. So let me tell you this. And maybe I have it somewhere else, but I want to make sure I cover this. Slim and Sassy, if you're going to use it in your water, you want to start with maybe 4 drops in 16 ounces of water. On the bottle, it probably tells you 8 drops, and I just suggest starting with 4 and building up to 8 drops just to see. Other people, if they're not carrying around a 16-ounce water container, and who knows what kind of containers or glasses you have to use if you're putting oils in your water.
Has to be glass.
Or stainless steel, but absolutely no plastic or styrofoam or any of that kind of stuff. But if you're going to be adding it throughout the day, I would say add like 2 drops to an 8-ounce glass of water. And then, to another glass of water, go ahead and add 2 drops and so on. So, and you can, I think I have it, it seems like I have it somewhere else in this presentation about diffusing it as well. You can certainly diffuse Slim and Sassy in your background while you're working or playing or trying not to eat or whatever. So those are some of the things specifically related to supporting foundational nutrition, healing the gut, and sugar cravings. Any questions? Okay. 2 seconds on exercise. I'm including it here because it's part of the pyramid and it's part of a weight loss process, although it is not the biggest one. We used to be taught if you don't exercise, you can't lose weight. And people saying I exercise all the time and I don't lose weight. Exercise is important for our health. It is helpful for weight loss, but the food choices and times of eating are much more important. But here are just a couple of things about exercise. Movement is key. We are designed to move. We are not designed to be sitting all day, which is what so many of us are doing. You've heard sitting is the new smoking. Okay, somebody must have on phone and computer or something. So we're getting an echo. So if you could, I'm looking to see if I can mute, but I don't see when I'm sharing the screen. So if you are doing that, if you've got both a computer and a phone on, can you?
Susie, you sound wonderful in stereo.
I sound great in stereo or whatever this is.
Susie, go up to the top of your screen, and there's a drop down that might give you the buttons you need.
Let's see.
Now I get to hear Carla in stereo.
Let me see if I can manage participants. I'm going to manage you guys. Let's see. Mute. Okay, I'm going to mute all. Thank you, Carla. You got to hear me twice. Wait.
Nope, we're still hearing you twice.
All right, well, let's see. Okay, are we good now? No, we're not. Okay, let me mute. But it looks like everybody's muted. Except for Mark.
No one can shut me up.
Yeah, really? Okay. And who's this? Okay, everybody should be muted. Okay. Now I can't hear you if it's okay. Let me put this away. Okay, so these are some of the solutions to go along with, maybe I should go back to this slide. I don't think I finished it. Here we go. Okay, so I was saying sitting is the new smoking. At least get up hourly, or get yourself one of those desks that adjust from sitting to standing. Those would be huge interventions just for health in general. I think people know, but just in case not, high intensity interval training means you can work out as little as 10, 20 minutes a day and get a huge benefit. You don't need that 45 minutes or an hour a day or 5 days a week in the gym. We're past the need for that. Doesn't mean you can't, but we don't need that. Rebounding, I could do a whole thing on rebounding. I love rebounding. It's such an efficient and effective exercise modality. Core work, we more and more in the fitness news how important that is. And I just want to mention squats, good old squats. They are huge at boosting nitric oxide in our blood vessels, which means it opens them up. It's really good for our heart. It helps prevent strokes. So do beets, by the way. Go back to nutrition. Beets are a great source of nitric oxide, but squats also are a natural way to boost nitric oxide production in your body. So that's all I'm going to say about exercise, except if you need a little help from your workouts, Deep Blue is, I think everybody here knows about Deep Blue for sore muscles and joints. They actually have to the right, this is a doTERRA athletic kit. It has great oils that just support working out. And I have Motivate there because some people need to be motivated to do their exercise. I love Motivate. I use it all the time. I'm going to go quickly to stress reduction. We already talked a little bit about it. Here's a few oils that I love for stress reduction. Balance is a favorite grounding one. Serenity, which people use a lot for sleep. Frankincense is just the end-all, be-all. DNA repair, stress management, opening up awareness, calming. And then there's a beautiful blend called Peace, which has so many of the oils that are designed for relaxing and calming. So those are just some suggestions. And we're going to look a little bit at reducing the toxic load. As I said, if you're only going to do one oil, I'm going to see if I can unmute you guys. Let's see.
You are unmuted.
Are we hearing me? Yep, I guess I have to mute it. Okay. I tried. Why aren't we muting everybody? Mute. Okay. If you're going to do just one oil, it would be lemon oil for detoxifying. It's so good for helping the liver, the kidneys. It helps remove radiation. It purifies things. It's why it's also such a good cleaning agent for outside of the body, but definitely inside the body. But I don't suggest just using lemon oil. Zendocrine, any of the oils that are in Zendocrine are really helpful for detoxifying. Juniper berry is for the kidneys. Cilantro is great for helping get heavy metals out of the body. Rosemary is so good for the liver. It's also great for the hair and for memory. And tangerine peel, just similar to lemon, has that the limonene in it, which is so good for purifying. But my suggestion is get the blend, get the detox, Zendocrine, the detox blend, and go on, use it for maybe a week, a month, a drop or two a day, and then use it for use it for a week, and then lay off of it for a couple of weeks and do it again. Unless you're doing a 30-day cleanse, which I'll mention in a minute. But Zendocrine is fabulous. Zendocrine also comes with a supplement. It's not the same thing. Zendocrine, the oil does come in a soft gel. This is something different. Some people get that mixed up. This is a whole food supplement with herbs that are known to really help cleanse our organs of detoxification. And you can see, I'm not going to read them all, but you can see why this is so, like milk thistle is great for the liver, and burdock root and dandelion root, and garlic sort of cleanses everything. This is a beautiful blend for helping the body. If you don't want to do a full cleanse, these are some products you can use. This is what the 30-day doTERRA has a cleanse, and a lot of people do this cleanse once or twice a year. It's a 30-day cleanse, and it often people use this to kickstart a weight loss effort. Many people have done this because the cleansing, the toxins, and the weight loss, they all go together. They divide it up by 10-day intervals. This just give you an idea. You're using foundational nutrition. You're using that Zendocrine, Slim and Sassy, and the enzymes. Then the next 10 days, you're using some of the same things, but where we stop with the Zendocrine and we add something called GX Assist, which really helps clean the stomach and the colon. And then the last part, we stop that cleanse. We only do it for 10 days for the stomach, and now we add the probiotic in, which we didn't use before because we were cleaning everything out. It was silly to put it in only to take everything out. So this is just kind of what the cleanse looks like. If anybody wants to do this, I have sheets that make it real easy. What am I doing each day? And if you don't have any of these products, they do sell a cleanse kit. It's called Cleanse and Restore, and it actually is an enrollment kit in case somebody here is thinking of enrolling in doTERRA. That could be an enrollment kit, which means you wouldn't have to pay an enrollment fee. But if you have a lot of these things, if you're like many of us and you take Lifelong Vitality, then you could just buy what you don't have. Maybe you're already doing enzymes, but obviously as a kit you save a little bit. It's below wholesale. But I wanted to point that out. And now, gosh, I wish I knew whose phone was doing that, because I'd really like to have your voices here when I go over some recipes. This is what I want to kind of end with, a bunch of recipes.
Susie, we could each individually unmute ourselves.
Thank you. And then maybe we should have everybody do that and see if we figure out who it is. But yes, thank you, Carla.
I think it was Mark.
Huh? You think it was Mark?
I think it was. He was the last one you muted, and it was going on until you muted him.
Okay. Well, feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question. Thank you, Carla. So I have several recipes here. You might want to take a screenshot of them if you're interested in them. This is a body butter recipe, because you can use, this is a way to get slim and sassy on your body, working for a while. And so besides having carrier oils and, the oils that give it substance as a body butter, the shea butter, and this is, we don't use fractionated coconut oil for this because you want the solidness this time. It's not for a roller ball, since it's for more like a cream, a body butter. You use actual regular coconut oil. And this is one way to sort of support the slim and sassy effect in your body. So I'm going to give a second, and then I'm going to move on to another one. And again, feel free to ask any questions. This one has a little bit more work to it because you have to melt some of the semi-solid substances first. And I don't recommend a microwave for anything, but you can do that, or a double boiler on your stove. The next one, let's see if I can get to the next one. There. This is a body wrap, and this is a kind of popular one for people that say, I want to look better tomorrow, for my reunion, or it's going to make me feel a whole lot better if I can just see some quasi-immediate results. So again, this is a temporary one, but at least it's a healthy temporary one, and you're doing good things for your body in doing it. So and you probably need help. It would be hard to wrap yourself, and you don't want the plastic directly on your body. You want to use the muslin on your skin, but you put this together in a spray bottle, and then you spray your abdomen, your hips, your thighs, whatever it is you're doing with the concoction, and then you wrap the muslin around that, and then you wrap the plastic around it. And I just put this in here because it's kind of a popular weight loss intervention, but again, not for long term. But it will help if you're in what somebody might perceive as a crisis that way. Cellulite buster. People ask a lot about this. Notice the grapefruit in there. Grapefruit is so good. If you don't have all of this stuff, even putting grapefruit in just a coconut oil or another carrier oil and rubbing it on areas, people will notice a difference. Or making a roller ball that's easy to use. But this is juniper is also helping the kidney and the circulation, and cypress also helps circulation. So that's why you have this combination as well. So I'll give a second with this. And then these are some other massage blends, and just a couple of different variations. I like the one with grapefruit in it, but rosemary is also good for the circulation, and peppermint helps burn fat too. So just variations. Some people like something better than the other. I also like having lemon because it's kind of uplifting. But they're very, very easy to make. You take your oils, you put them in an ounce of carrier oil, and then you massage it. And you leave it in there for at least 20 minutes. That's it. And give it, and it's nice to do the massaging for a while, because the massage effect not only drives the oils in a little bit, but it also has its own benefit for stimulating circulation. So there's that one. Sugar craving buster. I have, again, 2 different options here. I think if somebody has blood sugar stuff, do the second one, or just see which one you like better, or see which one is more effective for you, or which scent you like better, because it's in a roller ball and you're gonna feel it.
I like that one. Okay.
And but these are helpful, and I always recommend, if you're doing it as a roller ball, put a little bit, roll a little bit on your wrists or your palms, and then bring it to your face and actually inhale it in, because I think everybody knows that the oils have a very powerful effect on the limbic system, which regulates so many of our sort of automatic functions and hormone balance and stress. So they have strong, it's just another way to add some impact. So these are 2 recipes that you can use for that. There's a more general crave control, not just specific for sugar. It's not that different, but you'll notice there's oils for blood sugar, and ginger for the stomach and the inflammation, and peppermint, and of course grapefruit for that metabolizing and decreasing appetite. That's another one. And you can see you don't need a ton of oils to make these. You just need to have some of them. I mean, a lot of them are found in your, in your initial kit. That's why I always recommend get natural. If you don't have oils, start with either the small bottle kit for $150 or the larger bottle kit. It's a better deal if you can do it for $275. And you get 10 of the most used oils. That's why they're in the kit. They're the most used. They're the foundational oils. And then you build upon them with some of these other oils. Or you get at least you add a Slim and Sassy, because then you're getting a lot of the oils that are impactful for what we're talking about tonight. Helping release retained fluids. Some people find that, that's an issue. So this is just something that stimulates. Cilantro helps pull the water and the toxins out. And of course, we know lemon as a detoxifier. Some people might add a little juniper or put a little juniper on their kidneys because it just supports kidney function. So there's this one. And this is, and I wanted to give you one that wasn't a roller ball, you know, that's a, just an amp, that's something you could diffuse. And bergamot is one of these citrus oils. So you've got some mood lifting, and bergamot is often used for elevating mood and for calming and motivating a little bit. It's so, you have a couple of different effects again. So this is one that you could diffuse around the dinner table or as you're preparing dinner or lunch or whatever. Have it in a little bottle that you, an inhaler. Inhalers are kind of fun to make if you don't have a diffuser. So those are some of the ways that you can use the oils. And I just put this together. If you're already a doTERRA member and you're really interested in this topic for you or for a loved one, I mean, I gave you reasons why we want some of these things, but I have my little must-have listing here for weight loss, and unless you are sold on the vitamin or daily supplement stuff that you take, I so recommend the Lifelong Vitality and the probiotic foundational, but then having the Digestin and the other ones that we talked about. And then these are some of the ones that I recommend in addition to that. Balance is just so grounding. I use that oil every day. If you want to do the full detox, the Cleanse and Restore Kit. Citrus Bliss is just another citrus blend that is my favorite for general diffusing because it's so uplifting. Wild Orange kind of fits that same thing. I didn't talk at all about DDR Prime today. I'm putting it here because if you are serious about cellular renewal, DNA repair, just getting your body in a much healthier state, that DDR Prime stands for damaged DNA repair. And you can get it as an oil or a soft gel. It's one of the things that I recommend that my cancer clients take every day. And I take it pretty regularly because it's just anti-aging and anti-inflammation and anti-DNA damage, which leads to so many challenges that we have. Then there's, Mark had talked about it, the Slim and Sassy gum, the Terra Greens, if you're not already taking a good green powder. And then the trim shakes if you want support by doing one or two meal replacement shakes that are healthy and help with the stress levels. If you're not a member, please, and you're interested in becoming one, just talk to me and we'll get you set up. And I like to reward actions. So if anybody who is on this call who doesn't have a membership and is interested in having one, you can get a membership from an enrollment kit or a $35, we call it sort of like the Costco version, allows you to have a membership and get all your oils at 25% off. If you decide that's of interest and you do it by Sunday, then besides some things I'm about to tell you about, I will give you an additional free oil. I have 4 different ones you can choose from depending on what's of most interest or help for you or a loved one. And for those of you who are already members, or it could be for a new person, I just wanted to recap the January specials. It's not a big surprise that they're all, or most of them are related to weight loss, and because that's what a lot of people are interested in after the holidays. So if you did an order, 125-point order, and if you don't know what that means, I will talk to you about that. If you do it by the 15th, you're going to get a free grapefruit, so you don't even have to buy it. And Slim and Sassy oil this month is 10% off. I want to say, I forgot now, it's about $30. It's either high 20s or low 30s. I didn't write it down and now I don't remember, but you get 10% off of it this month. And those, especially if you're looking at a kit or a larger order, if you haven't done an LRP order or any kind of order, if you have a 200-point order, which is roughly $200 worth of oils, if you place that also by the 15th of the month, you'll get a free frankincense. This is the December special doTERRA does every year in honor, I guess, of Christmas and frankincense and myrrh and all that. And they extended it through January 15th. So like somebody yesterday bought the kit with the larger bottles, and they love frankincense. That's part of the reason they got it. And I totally forgot until we were putting her order, and I'm like, oh, you got a free frankincense. I totally forgot. I didn't even tell you that as an incentive. I forgot. But so she says, I'm on it. I'm going to use it. And then lastly, this is something, if you are already a member and you haven't ordered in at least 4 months, you can get either, if you do a 100-point regular order, the company, in addition to any of these other specials, will throw in a free Breathe. Didn't talk about Breathe tonight. Fabulous for respiratory stuff or seasonal allergies or colds and flus and that stuff. They'll throw that in for free. And if it is what we call this LRP order, which is their frequent, sort of like a frequent flyer program, they will, and it's at least 100 points, so about $100 worth of oils. They will throw in a free Breathe and On Guard, which is the immunity blend, which is perfect for right now in this weather. And the next little mini class I'm going to do is going to be on the immune system, because we still have a lot of winter left, but that's what On Guard is for. So I think that is it. Just if somebody wants to get started each month, or if it's been a long time and we haven't done a wellness consult, then I would love to do one for you. Or if you have an upline on the team who is can do that for you as well. So I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see. I wonder if I can, well, you're all muted, but maybe try unmuting yourselves and let's see, well, maybe we'll find out who it is or what it is. And I just want to see if there's any questions I can answer, any comments or feedback or something you want to add with your own knowledge.
Hi, Susie. This is Julie Stoner.
Hey, Julie Stoner. Mwah, to you.
How are you?
I am awesome. It's so good I can't see you, I guess, but hear you.
I know. I can't. I probably could make myself visible. Well, anyway, there. Okay. I don't know. I came to Panera so that I could use the internet, and I had kind of a hard time setting everything up, so I missed the first part of your whole presentation. And I've been in the vestibule here between doors so that I could keep listening for the last half hour. Anyway, I am going to email you about this whole presentation if I could talk to you.
Please, you have my email, so please do that, and we can talk about it personally for you, or, it's
good. Okay, good.
Nice to see you and talk to you again.
Okay, thank you. See ya. Bye.
Bye, Julie. Anybody else want to share something before we call it a night?
Susie, quick question. I know you recorded this. Is it possible for us to rewatch it?
Yes, if everything works well, yes. I will send it out, tomorrow sometime. Yes.
Great.
Who was on the call. And maybe I'll end up posting it somewhere as well. So, any questions right now, Sherry, or just want to absorb it, or?
I like to watch things like 3 times to kind of marinate on things and, take it in. I do, better that way. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and you're not a newbie with oils, so.
No, I think I have everything but the grapefruit, which I'll be ordering today.
Cool. All right. Well, let's talk and see if we want to do anything specific for you. So feel free to reach out if you want after you.
Okay.
Okay. And anybody else? Otherwise, I will say thank you so much for joining me this evening. I hope you found this of value. Maybe even if you're a seasoned oil user, maybe you learned something new on the nutritional or the oil front. And I wish you an awesome week and rest of the month. And I will be sending out a notice when I am going to do the next little mini tutorial. So many blessings to all of you. Stay warm if you're in cold climes, and just what my teacher would say, infinite love and gratitude. Good night now.
Infinite love and gratitude.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye, Susie.
Bye-bye.